What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it's time to review JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, Episode 3. Okay, so this was another pretty strong episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Starting with the technical aspects of the episode, music, as usual, was on point. No complaints there. All the soundtracks were good and well placed. The animation and art, while not quite as good as the last two episodes, which is a little weird, was still good and by no means bad. Obviously, the artistic flair of JoJo with the color palette swapping and the transitions was all on point, as you'd come to expect. So all of that stuff from a visual standpoint was on point, audio game on point. The pacing of the episode was also very good, and we did get a fair amount of story progression, even a main goal, so to speak. So I'll get into more detail there, but from a technical aspect, the episode is on point. So, the story progression. We see more of Angelo. That situation was not wrapped up. We thought it was, but it wasn't. He talks about Dio, and he talks about this bow and arrow and this guy in a school uniform that shoots him with the bow and arrow while he's in prison, and that's what unlocks his stand ability. This is very interesting because it explains how Dio was able to gain a stand back in 1987 or whenever it took place. I forget the exact year. And, because obviously he wasn't born with a stand. Nobody was born with a stand because stands weren't fucking thought of back then, but it still stands to reason how did he get a stand. And it stands to reason, yeah, fucking accidental pun there. But anyways, we see a picture of Enubo with the bow and arrow. So obviously if she had it, she was able to hit Dio with it and unlock his stand. Zawardo. So Jotaro's like, well, this is fucked. If this stand can just, if this bow and arrow can just give people stands, that's a huge problem. It seems to be kind of a thing where it's like a dormant thing, like you have the stand in you, you have the potential to have one. The stand, oh my god, I keep calling the arrow as the stand, what the fuck? The bow and arrow, if you get hit by it, it will unlock that stand for you. And later in the episode, we see that Koichi gets hit by it, and he seems to not be responding to it. He seems to not have it in him. We're not too sure yet, but that seems to be the case. But of course, since it's JoJo, he's alive because fucking you get hit in the neck. It's like a flesh wound, I guess. And Josuke obviously wants to heal him, but dude in the school uniform drags him into the house. Josuke pursues. That's the end of the episode. So we're getting introduced to this dude who has the bow and arrow pretty early on, which is very cool. So we'll get more in the next episode as far as the story progression goes. But taking out this bow and arrow, capturing it, and making sure that this dude can't make more stand users is now the current goal. But this dude has a brother, and obviously, it's not really a spoiler. You see him in the opening. He's one of the main cast members, so obviously he won't stay a bad guy. So we get introduced to, I know his name, I'm just not sure how to pronounce it. But he has, I'm going to call him The Hand, because that's the name of his stand. And hopefully I don't tongue-tie that shit. But anyways, The Hand is a pretty badass stand in terms of design. Its ability is extremely overpowered. Anything it swipes is gone. And then, like, he erases the space, and then it seals up. So, like, for example, if I did that right now, my camera would just be, like, you'd be, like, all up in my nostrils and shit. It'd be crazy. So, that's basically the ability of his stand. And it's extremely overpowered, because I'm pretty sure if he hit a person with that, he would just erase them. Like, could you imagine if he erased the middle of you with his hand, and then the two, like, outer thirds of your body just came together? That'd be so weird. Oh, man. Like, yeah, extremely overpowered ability. I'm pretty sure it can work on people. He didn't say it couldn't, but he's an idiot, so maybe it can't. I don't know. But, yeah, he's a dumbass, and he sounds like Aoki from Hajime no Ippo, which is funny. It's a perfect voice for him, too. I think that guy voiced him in the All-Star Battle video game, but anyways, digression. They have a pretty cool fight. It's kind of, it's not a fast-paced fight. They're kind of standing around talking to each other, he's explaining the ability. He's stopping Josuke from reaching Koichi, so it makes sense that he would talk to him. And Josuke tries to get past him a couple times, but by closing the space, he's always right on Josuke's ass and hitting him. And then these pots hit him, and that was kind of weird. I get that things close up when he swipes. It just seemed weird that after all those swipes he did to hit Josuke, that all of a sudden the pots flew over to him. I don't know, that could have been explained a little bit better. But it was still pretty cool. And I love Josuke's logic. I should probably choke him a little bit so he doesn't wake up. That was actually really funny to me. And yeah, and seeing Jotaro interact with Josuke's mom was pretty cool. I like that little speech he gave about Joseph being too old to do anything now, but you gotta give Joseph the props because Joseph's fucking awesome. But He really is so cool. Like the series, like I swear, the series itself and Iraqi, when he writing it, he knew how cool Joseph was. He was awesome in part 2. He carried over into part 3. They're still talking about how cool he was in part 4. It's awesome because Joseph is my favorite JoJo. So, there that is. But yeah, this was a really cool episode. Like I said, the story progression was good because we have like a main goal in front of us. The overall like characters, I wouldn't say really developed or anything, but with Koichi, possibly maybe gonna have a stand now is really cool, and overall it was a good episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. Not really. They say their dad bought this place, so they have a dad as well, so that'll become a thing in a few, and probably not a few episodes, probably the next episode I would say that'll be a thing. But yeah, it does kind of suck that this guy's going to be a main character, so really the only like true main villain here is going to be the blonde-haired brother, but that makes sense because he has the bow and arrow and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. It was a good episode. I liked the story progression. All the technical aspects were solid, though it was slightly lesser in quality than the previous 2 episodes in terms of animation. Not a big deal. I'd still give this one a solid 8 out of 10. Overall, it'd be like a 7, 7.5. It's a good, okay to good episode, but having that story progression, having the introduction of 2 more stand users, and that really good cliffhanger with Koichi just having like a time limit before he could possibly die, it's a nice, intense, really well done episode, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So I could probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a very good episode, like a good plus episode of JoJo. And that's all I have to say. So what did you guys think about this episode of JoJo? You guys can tell me in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. Give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already or if you like what you've seen here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching.